It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. White in the building.
Yo. Good morning, Murayo.
I love the blue and white.
Thank
so
you.
pretty.
Thank you.
That's turquoise, right?
Yeah, teal.
Teal. Oh, nice.
Teal.
Okay.
You know, there's always a difference in
Yeah,
colors.
okay.
Yeah.
Teal.
You're good with the colors.
How are you doing, Waike? Anything happening the weekend?
No,
How is Lekki?
we buried my brother-in-law on Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
Quite sad. But
Very,
even
very...
the governor came.
Yes.
Because he's close to them, you know.
That's so nice.
I shed a few tears, but you know, he was 71. He died in the front line. He died a hero, really. To me, he died a hero.
Right.
Hero. He knew he was at risk by going to the hospital, but he continued to go. So people like that are selfless.
Right.
So for that, I value him, and I value the fact that I knew him.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to start crying, so let me just...
That's life.
Yeah,
That's
and I want to greet my auntie and uncle in England. I never greet them. And Sonny and Uncle Michael, they always watch the show. They are fans of the show, so please greet them for me. And they're survivors as well.
Yes.
So Uncle Michael and Sonia,
Hi.
We love you.
Good. That's good to know. That's good. So how are you doing, BC?
I'm doing amazing. Yesterday, I flooded my room.
With?
Honestly. Okay, so the way the washing machine was set up was, you have to get out the hose when you want to wash. So you have to remember to bring out the hose and just put it in the bathtub so that the water just runs through. And I put on the washing machine, went to sit down with the kids. I forgot to bring out the hose. I just heard my husband's voice. Come here! Ah! And I went there, the room was, we were bailing water for hours. The room was flooded, my documents were, he was leaving.
Is this in your new house that you have moved to?
Hey, why you're not in
No, Jigbo.
My house is my house. We're just bailing water.
Oh, you didn't tell people you have moved?
Hey, Jesus Christ, Waike.
I'm sorry, she has moved.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know she didn't tell anybody.
Waike, you can't tell Waike's secret.
Ah, mistake.
I didn't know now. I didn't know it was a secret.
Finally.
Okay.
We were able to bail the water, and my kids were hounding me. So, Mommy, you can make mistakes. Every time you're shouting at us, hey, do this, do that. So you. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you I was perfect. I'm not exactly. Everybody makes mistakes, but now I knew they will hound me for a very long time.
Yes, that's
Mommy flooded the room.
Yes, sir.
Mommy flooded the room.
Fantastic.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, it's just fun. You know, it's just since January practically we've been doing since the lockdown we've been doing our Saturday classes every single Saturday. It's been quite draining. This last Saturday is my first Saturday without any classes. I felt like I had a long weekend. Like Saturday was a whole weekend. You know, I was really excited to just be alone, hanging out with the kids. Don't worry about going to classes or doing assignments or doing presentation or reading. Oh, Father, we thank God, old age in school.
You'll soon be done.
But,
anyway.
I have one more year, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
I have good news, but I'm not sharing because of Waike.
No, if you share it
Let's
here,
move on. I'm not
you have
sharing.
shared it everywhere.
I must not share everything everywhere.
But share it now.
And we should have our personal lives away from TV now.
good news. I'm
Are you
happy.
pregnant?
Good news is
Good
great.
news, good news is good news.
Are you pregnant?
No, I'm not.
That's good news
I'm
now.
pregnant, so please.
I can't be.
Please.
I'm done.
We are done. We are
I'm
done.
done.
Please.
Are you sure you're
Let's
done?
leave it
I'm
for the
expecting
other.
Mariah's own soon.
Waike.
That's the change of life, baby.
It's Tuesday, it's not
Change of
Thursday.
life, baby, will be coming
It's
soon.
Tuesday. We have to be very serious.
Yeah, we have to be serious.
Let's go on a break.
Oh, 5. Your husband Coco wants 5.
Waike. Please go on a break. We'll be right back. Okay, let's start with Vanguard today. NDDC contracts. Ibori Kalu Oduahan confront Akpabio. No loans clause ceding Nigeria's sovereignty to China, says Chinese Foreign Ministry. Schools resume. Ogunniyi turns on the 25,000 naira COVID-19 test charge. ShopRite debunks exit story, vows not to leave Nigeria. Issa Funtua, pillar of support to my government, says Buhari. Edo will meet violence with violence, says Oshiomhole. For real. And insecurity worsening rapidly, said governors. Okay, let's start with which stories are we taking here? Then the picture, the picture of the funeral of late Pastor me, very, very, this is a prominent Nigerian, and we have quite a number of other people that have gone to, that were there to pay their last respects to this elder statesman who was a leader in all ramifications.
Right.
Okay.
The clause in the loan.
Yeah, the loan, yeah, you took it, Abby.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So the Chinese Foreign Ministry, CFM, yesterday denied that China had any clause in its loan contracts conceding Nigeria's sovereignty to China. So there's been this, the House of Reps, they've been talking about the loan that was given for the rail projects, and a lot of things are coming out. Some are saying that it was not properly scrutinized before that loan was given, and now the Chinese company is saying that there's no point. In fact, what we do is it's called a no approach in relations with Africa, which means no interference in African countries' pursuit of development paths that fit their national conditions, no interference in African countries' internal affairs, no imposition on our will on African countries, no attachment of political strings to assistance to Africa, and no seeking of selfish political gain.
So this whole thing started when the response, remember when Amici was being asked in the Senate, and he was saying that please stop all this probe of these loans from China, because if you do that, it can restrict and stop the loans we already collected for our real projects. So in response to that, ABC was now saying that we should be, that instead of Amici, PDP now responded, obviously, and then APC was saying that PDP should go and tell us where the $2 billion China loan that was taken between 2010 and 2013 was, the $16 billion spent on power, and still today we don't have any power. And quite a number of other projects.
They talked about the security in...
Camera, CCTV. Remember,
CCTV.
we took it on this show many years ago when they were going to put CCTV across Abuja.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
They talked about that one too. Okay. But you see, it's because the House of Representatives had uncovered clauses in the contract.
Yes.
Saying that
seemed that we're going to be selling off our sovereignty. Yes.
So, but in addition, because I was supposed to take it in... Punch.
Right.
So NLC is saying that they are requesting that the federal government publishes the terms and conditions of loans taken, this China loan we're talking about, and also external loans, that if that is not done, they are going to, carry out they are threatening a legal action against the government. We should have the details so that we don't have issues like this.
Details of the loans, and China is saying, no, they just give, no country gives you loans just like that. There must be something in it for them. They're not just... They are not for that Christmas.
Yes, let's move on. Let's move on. So it's the details that ASCAP is asking for. And ASCAP is an 80, the group of 80 civil service groups together, coming together on this. Moving on to The Nation. Governors protest nation's worsening security situation. Schools reopening source of COVID-19 concerns, says PTF. Leaders honor Fasomi at funeral service. NDDC 6.25 billion naira palliatives diverted. Crack in PDP as Governors Forum overs running mates bid, and Airpeace cuts pay by 40%. ShopRite seeks Nigerian investors. Okay, which stories are we taking there?
Should we do Airpeace first?
Go ahead, Airpeace. Yes, go ahead.
So, so Airpeace yesterday sacked about 70 pilots. One of the reasons they gave was the fact that as a result of the COVID-19, they can't meet up to their financial obligations to staff, external vendors, maintenance organizations. So the only way that they can survive with about 3,000 staff that they have is to restructure. And they started by, reducing the salaries of their workers by 40%. But at the end of that, that still didn't cut what they wanted to do. So they ended up, sacking the pilots. But they are saying that this is more for the greater good of the organization, including even the sacked pilot, that something may happen and everything is revived and those ones may get back to work.
The bottom line is that businesses are really struggling now. That goes to the same thing with ShopRite, who yes, they broke that they were leaving. Now they say, no, they're not leaving. They're just selling off some parts to local investors. And there's a school of thought that says once you start selling, that means you are going. So stop pretending, So
we'll see how that goes. But this NDDC story is very interesting. So let me get his name. The chairman of the Palliative Distribution Committee, High Chief Jack Rich, has alleged that the IMC, that includes Ponde and his entire team, diverted 6.25 billion naira meant for the palliatives. He said that they just did some kind of a show as if they were giving out stuff for people, took pictures just for the media purposes. And he said that he cannot account for the palliatives as the chairman committee, because even he himself only got, they sent 9 trucks of food items, which was distributed, but it did not go round to the various committees. And they had in just a few bags, his own personal few bags, and rice and beans. And he just said a few other things. But the bottom line is that that money that was meant for palliatives at that period was diverted completely and told most of it was diverted, and it did not reach.
I didn't read that story, but that should be a hot topic.
Honestly,
yes,
we should call
the
them.
allegations are really, really rife, and we have to really, really discuss them. Moving on to The Punch, published loans detail or face legal action. NLCTUC tells others. You talked about that already. Yeah. Man dies after Beninese herbalist defrauds family of 5 million naira. Second NNPC ex-GMD dies within 3 months. Ogunniyi reverses private students 25,000 naira COVID-19 fee. Resumption, stay at home, FG tells students with cough and other symptoms. NCDC tracking 11,000 COVID-19 contacts nationwide. Okay, this human interest story, why did you have it?
Yes, I took it, yes. The Mr. and Mrs. Bangboye, they had gone to this Beninese herbalist, and he said, oh, look, to avoid calamity in their family, they have to do some certain things. He took them to Benin, where he presented them with a wooden coffin and told them to keep it in their...
Don't open it until I tell you to.
Don't open it until I ask you to open it. And they too, they didn't. And then he was now collecting money until it got to 5 million. The man, while contributing giving the man money, died. So she now, in her own annoyance and grief, went to the police to arrest.
Interesting, the man has confessed.
He
confessed. And he said he only took 3.5 million and he used to go and build his house for himself. Imagine. How we can still be gullible in this situation, but it's just so sad.
You know, because I'm wondering, are they arresting him for...
taking money?
For their gullibility?
No, but he took money.
That's a crime.
That's a crime. He stole, practically stole money. False pretenses.
They gave him.
False pretenses now. He was supposed to be... Moving on to The Guardian. Our final paper this morning, Nigeria's missing out on COVID-19 vaccine trials. Who has that story?
Yes, I have the story. So experts are worried that Nigeria is not participating in the ongoing Oxford COVID-19 trials. Initially, we signed on to the World Health Organization's Solidarity Drug Trials, and experts are expecting that as they are going ahead with the clinical trials now, that we should be participating, because if we do not, we may not be able to have access to the vaccines when they are ready. So this is a very critical process, and it's just Egypt and South Africa, in the whole of Africa, that are participating in this. We need to, be at the forefront and do it.
Maybe we are developing our own drug.
No, but I think part of the ones we're not part of are the one that. But I think part of the ones we're not part of are the one that is being conducted by the Oxford, I believe, in UK.
Yes, and we should be.
But the ones we are part of, I believe, based on that story, I think the one in the WHO, the one WHO is hosting. So either way,
that one they don't have. We are not hearing that they are, developing vaccines for that world.
No, Nigeria is doing their own.
Okay, that's all we can take. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on that. When we come back, we'll discuss Ibidunni Ighodalo's Foundation 40 at 40 project. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, infertility is a worldwide problem affecting 8 to 15% of couples in their reproductive stage. According to, right now, this morning, joining us is Pastor Ituah Ighodalo to talk about the Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation, which is a non-profit. Good morning, Pastor Ituah.
Good morning. How are you all? Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Once again, I'd like to offer my condolences to the entire family of Ighodalos and Ajayi. We're so sorry for the loss of such a wonderful woman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the project, the foundation is trying to raise money to help 40 families with this process. Could you tell us about the objective exactly? What are you trying to achieve, and how far have you gone so far?
Well, this is just the first in many things that the foundation wants to do. The objective is to try and bring succor to a lot of families. Going through her own process, my wife realized that there's quite a high rate of people who are believing God for children, looking for children from different means, medical and spiritual, where necessary. And she made up her mind that wherever she was able to raise resources, she would help and support as many people as possible to actually have their own children, or at least have children they can call their own and live a balanced family life. So the objective is to bring happiness, joy, succor, and the peace that a full family with children can provide to the average.
All right, sir. So 40 at 40 is a laudable initiative, and it's a legacy that she's built and will forever remain so. But I want to ask, how do you plan to select? What's the selection process going to be like for those 40 families that will end up having to be a part of this? How do you plan to select it? How transparent is the selection process? Is there anything that those individuals need to do to be able to be selected?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. First of all, we're trying to raise about 150 million naira because each process costs between 2.5 to 3 million. And we're looking for 40 of them, plus a little assistance during the pregnancy time. To select very, very transparent, we're looking for 40 IVF. So you go to the website, www.ibidunni-ighodalo.com or www.ibidunni-ighodalo-foundation.org. Go to the website, there's a form there, click on it, fill the form, give us your details. First of all, we're looking for couples who have been married, 5 years, no child. We don't want couples that have had children before or who are in secondary infertility. No, at least 5 years, no child. Secondly, we want the couples to prove that they are unable to afford the procedure on their income, but they can look after the child. 3, we want the lady to be below 50 so that we can avoid any risk as best as possible. Number 4, we're looking for couples who have been married longer, okay, without them having children. But the minimum is at least 5 years. They fill that form, they go through the process. There's a weeding to ensure that the couples that we find fall in this category. Then they go for medical examination. The medical examination must prove to us that as they are, the process can continue. Some, they may not be able to continue that process as they are because of other issues, fibroids, obesity, high blood pressure, and so on and so forth. So those issues may need to be treated first before you can go on to infertility treatment. So we want people who can start immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the duration of the project, and is it a one-off? Is it a one-off thing, or are you going to be doing it annually?
This project is running through a one-year cycle. Our year starts from July to June. We do this annually. We may not be able to do 40 couples every year, depending on the resource that we have. But this has been going on since 2016 formally. We've been doing an average of 12 couples a year since 2016. Before that, informally, between my wife and I, we've supported several couples at different times through the project process of reproduction. But this will continue annually. We just cannot say how many, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but we will try our best to make sure we keep the foundation and the vision alive. And the foundation itself does other things other than this.
So is it okay to ask how much you've gathered so far and how much are you looking for? Because we know it's 150, but you started this campaign a few weeks ago. Have you been able to, how has the response been so far?
The response has been quite good, I must confess. We've gotten over 50% of what we're looking for at this point in time. So we're hoping that we can get the balance 50 in the next couple of weeks, and then the treatments can start. By tomorrow, which is the 5th of August, the site closes because we opened on the 19th, which was her birthday. We close on the 5th, close of business, which is 3 weeks we gave, and thereafter we begin the process of weeding down. So we're hoping that we can get in all the monies in the next couple of weeks.
Right. All right, sir. For those who are moved to give, what should they do? How do they come? How do they approach you? Yeah. How do they send it in?
Can you repeat the question,
For those
please?
who are moved to donate to the initiative, what should they do?
Oh, very good. 2 ways they can donate. We have a bank account with GT Bank, Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation, GT Bank, 0240381-894. 0240381-894. So go to any branch of GT Bank, ask for the Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation, and you can transfer the money there or drop the money there, or transfer electronically from your own account wherever you are. All you need to do is remember the account number, 0240381-894.
Are these numbers available on your website?
They are available on the website.
Okay,
so if you go to the website, you'll find the bank details there. Also, there's a PayPal, there's a payment portal on the website for those who want to avail themselves of that. You click on it and you make your transfer. We've made it as simple as it is.
Can I ask a question out of the box, please? What has been the
applications?
No, how many people have applied? Has it been really? Have you been fraught with applications?
Quite a lot. We're almost overwhelmed. The demand is enormous. We have almost 1,000 right now. We think we might get a bit more than that. And even before this process, we had about 800 people that we already knew, although we started this process afresh. So the demand is there. And from even the applications, we will get a lot of statistics that will probably be relevant to our medical people. There's lots of people looking for children all over the place.
Yeah. So when will the announcement of the 40 recipients be made for those who finally get in?
I think in about a month, 3 weeks to a month. When we close on tomorrow, I think from Monday, the medical examinations will start. That will go on for about 2 weeks. Because of COVID, we need to just look at people, 2 or 3 at a time. We've arranged with our medical consultants to see all of them. So it will take about 2 weeks. There might be some housekeeping, administrative things to do. So in about 3 weeks' time, maximum 1 month, we will make the announcement.
Pastor
Now, some of the people may want to keep their names private. We'll respect their privacy. Those who are willing to be public will mention their names.
Right.
And we'll make a public announcement. Definitely.
This seems to be a huge project. Obviously, everything has been set aside for this. How many personnel are you engaging to support you on this, or do you need volunteers to support you on this?
Well, we've had quite a lot of support. I mean, since my wife passed, all her friends, a lot of them have come together to say that they want to support. Her class set, they put together some money. Her set from LBS put together some money. Even her primary school came forward and said they're willing to do whatever we want them to do. But we have a good structure. We have a board. I chair the board, and Titi Adenuga is on the board. Mrs. Okolie Bonix is on the board. My sister-in-law, Alera Ajayi, is on the board. And of course, Dr. Adebero, our medical consultant. Then we have a group of people led by Mrs. Bali and Mrs. Fasinro, who are helping us with the fundraising. So there's a fundraising committee. And we have about 6 or 7 full-time staff on the ground who are doing all sorts of things. Our project secretary, is a young lady called Dio Richard, who worked with the Ibidunni, who was like the coordinator of the entire project, and she's hands-on. And Dami Akinloye, one of our staff, also supports her. So we have a full office on the ground, 114 Awolowo Road, and all these various committees and advisors that are supporting us. Tony is also on the board with, on the committee with us, and the work is going on. Of course, I've received tremendous support from my brother Asferime, whose law firm, Ibidunni Ighodalo, provides us strong secretarial support and all the legal things that we.
Well done.
Okay. What other initiatives are in the pipeline from the foundation, and can you share them with us, please?
Definitely. My wife was very passionate about women and children. So every year she has what they call the Babies Day Out, where she has a party for women and who are pregnant and women who have young babies. Okay, and at that party she gives them supplies, pampers, medication, clothing, bathtubs, babies' toys, and so on and so forth, that will last the children and their mothers for at least 6 months. So that will continue on a regular basis. She goes to the impoverished places where people cannot afford these things. So we look after 500 to 1,000 families like that every year. We may increase that also. Then also we visit hospitals and support newborns, okay, with the same kind of supplies, and sometimes pay for their medical bills where necessary, because some of them have gone into hospital they cannot afford. Then we look for women who are challenged, women who are on the streets, women who are homeless, women who are professional women, and we try to rehabilitate them, clean them up, reorientate them, empower them, and so on and so forth.
Well done.
So these are the things that we do. And of course, she supports women empowerment. And she was hoping that very soon, one day, we'd have the first female president of Nigeria. We'll try and champion that also.
Thank you so much, Pastor Ituah. Thank you for joining us. We wish you all the best with this project, and we look forward to the announcement of the 40 lucky families to be able to undergo this procedure. And we also pray that God will continue to be with you, especially at this period. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I want to thank you all for your support, your love, your concern, various phone calls, letters of condolence, and everything. I am truly, truly grateful.
Yes, you said Donald Trump also reached out to you. I heard you on Sunday while you were preaching that Donald Trump also called you. I know that was a joke.
You heard that.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So schools have reopened yesterday, but people are still worried concerning the pandemic. So we have with us, joining us on the show is the chairman, Nigeria Medical Association Committee on COVID-19 chapter, Lagos chapter, Dr. Japhet Olugbogi. Dr. Japhet in the building. Welcome. Now we are singing. You're not part of us. We are singing for you now.
Welcome.
Good to have you back. So, Dr. Japhet, let's go right into it. In the last few weeks, we've been seeing a bit of a decline in Lagos State, especially in COVID-19 cases. And secondly, we're hearing that the government is closing down some isolation centers. So are those indicators for us to celebrate? I mean, are we finally turned the curve in Lagos State? Could you confirm that to us?
Yes, thank you very much for having me once again. Well, the government is considering a lot of money, given that the government has been spending a lot of money on COVID-19.
We can't hear you. It's not very clear.
I think the government is considering saving a lot of money, given that they have been spending a lot of money on COVID-19 and life have to move on. But then again, it is not yet who when it comes to COVID-19. A lot of people in the society are still down with the virus. But I think what is happening is that we have not about the virus now. So I think a lot of people are taking a lot of medication that are actually preventing them from getting badly sick from the virus. So we have more information now, unlike 3, 4, 5 months before, when we hardly had any good information about the virus. Because now people are aware that there are certain drugs, there are certain things that they can do that can reduce them from picking up the virus, number one, or getting very sick even after they must have contracted the virus. So I think that is what is happening. But it does not mean that the number of cases are actually reducing. No, people are still getting it. But I think what is happening is that people are not getting sick like we were getting sick before. A lot of people have the virus, they may not even know that they have it, and they just get, they just recover from the virus without even having to go for testing or having to go to the isolation center.
Right.
So I think that is what is happening.
Okay, don't you also think that the numbers may be dropping because a lot of people are not testing? You know, people are actually not testing.
The numbers may have been dropping because a lot of people are not even moving forward for testing anymore. People are not, they are not putting themselves forward like we were. They are not scared from the virus
anymore,
like they were before. So they may not be coming forward testing anymore. If you are not testing enough, we may not have enough people that are down with the virus. And if we don't have so many people that are sick or down with the virus, the government will not have so many people to put in the isolation center. And if they run an empty isolation center for a week or two, then they may want to think that, why do we want to continue, buying fuel, paying health workers, buying drugs, buying food, paying hotel accommodation for them? These are areas where the government expends money. So they may want to save money. So it's not a bad thing.
Right.
We should just be on the lookout. We should just be on the lookout.
Okay.
Get set. The cases skyrocket again so that we can do the needful.
Right.
Yeah, I hear of a lot of deaths, or I've been hearing of a lot of deaths recently. And, undisclosed illness. I will give you an example. Somebody called me on Sunday that I should help her. Police have arrested her. Her boyfriend died in her arms. Police have arrested her for killing him, and she didn't kill him. I suspect that that person must have died of COVID.
Dr. Waike.
Well, because I've been hearing, I have to be honest, I have been hearing strange deaths. And now, if that girl, if he did die of corona, they have arrested her, put her in the cell. If she has it, she will distribute. The dead body, the parents have collected the dead body. The parents will infect themselves. What are we going to do about this? Is there no way that you can be hooking these dead bodies before they...
I don't know.
Suggesting cremating.
I'm not suggesting, I'm just asking. Isn't there a way we can test these bodies?
Okay.
In death.
Okay.
Before they...
Okay. To know the cause of death.
To know the cause of death. Thank you.
Yes. Is that what she's saying? You get that?
Thank you very much. You have raised a valid question and a valid concern. Like I said earlier on, we have not defeated the virus yet, and it has not gone out of our society yet. So we shouldn't be too fast to discard the thing we are doing concerning the virus. For instance, there are so many deaths, like you said, so many uninvestigated deaths, so many unreported deaths that may actually have resulted from COVID-19. But because the society believes that, that is no more there now, everybody just wants to go ahead with their lives and do whatever they like. That kind of case should have been, investigated and autopsy conducted for that kind of case.
Exactly.
But, it boils down to the way we run our society. We take a lot of things for granted, which we shouldn't do in the first place.
Right.
So there are still cases out there, like I said earlier on, people are still dying, and you don't know the causes of their death. If you say you want to conduct autopsy for somebody that died so place now, that they don't know the cause of death, the family will tell you, no, we are not ready for that. We just want to bury our dead. So we all be aware that in order to protect others in the society, when people die like that of an unsuspecting illness, we should carry out an autopsy so that we can, get to the root of the matter and then maybe prevent further death among the family members or amongst the loved ones or amongst the neighbors or even contact trace. For that matter.
All right, Dr. Japhet, I need to ask you this question because you said something earlier that many people are treating themselves at home and not presenting themselves to the hospitals because they suspect that they might have COVID and they're treating themselves. Now, for me, that's a concern because Obviously, people are being treated. They treat themselves and they get well. Shouldn't our government open up to us and say, listen, you can use A, B, C, D at home to strengthen your immune system so that it becomes formalized? Because everybody just going back, taking lemongrass here, taking garlic there, taking ginger. We're just talking to each other. Can we have a formal advice from the government? Say, okay, guys, yes, it doesn't cure you, but use A, B, C, D to strengthen your immune so that everybody at least knows this generally. So it's not as if it depends on who you call that tells you one will say take the turmeric, now will say take lemongrass. We are getting confused.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for the government, but I agree with you. It is one of the things that they should be doing. And I think the Honorable Commissioner for Health actually mentioned certain things that people could take in the past. But we have also, in our own right, mentioned that there are some drugs that people can take that can boost their immunity, that can prevent them from grave illnesses from COVID-19. We have mentioned before that vitamin D, vitamin C, and oral zinc can help. And I'm sure people also have read on the internet about all these things. Now, one of the reasons which I think the government may not want to come out to say all these things is because in the past kind of information, people may mistake it for the fact that it's a cure. Meanwhile, it's not a cure. And it is not absolute when you take this drug. It is not take this drug and come down with COVID-19. Because some people can take this drug and come down with grave illness from COVID-19. And then they will start quoting the government that, oh, should they told us that, but we'll do so and so and so. We will not come down with it. So government did not want to be making those kind of comments because of that kind of reason. For instance, we all saw the video about hydroxychloroquine, and there are so many doubts surrounding it. Some people say there are researches that say it can be used, it cures and all that. But there are so many other researches that say that no, it does not cure the virus. So if the government comes and make a position on that kind of issue, people are going to be quoting the government and even be suing the government as well. So I'm sure government does not want to take a position on
point taken. All right, understood.
I totally agree with you, and I'm happy you brought up that video on hydroxychloroquine, because now there are some chemists that are actually selling chloroquine for 50K.
Wow.
50,000 naira because of that video.
Yeah.
Are there any steps that the government can take to investigate these chemists? Later on, I can give you a call and tell you secretly which one I know or which one I have encountered.
Oh, you've known of you? Okay. Anyway, they won't let you enter their pharmacy again.
You see, at some point during the response, when I came on the show, I mentioned that when it had not been confirmed that COVID-19 was airborne, I mentioned that we can back that people should not be wearing gloves and masks up and down until it was now confirmed that we should be wearing gloves. Now, what those kind of things do, it's to hijack the commodity and then make it scarce, and then before you know it, it becomes so expensive. I also asked about hydroxychloroquine yesterday from one of my pharmacies, and he said the drug was 54,000 naira. So you see, in our society, they will create such a huge demand for that drug and then make it scarce, and then people will start looking for it and want to buy it at all costs. Hydroxychloroquine, I want to say categorically, does not cure COVID-19. So people should stop ordering the drug and stop selling it at the huge and exorbitant prices. It does not stop COVID-19.
Okay, we had an argument. We had a discussion in the makeup room this morning, and they were saying they don't want you to cure it. Hydroxychloroquine is the cure. They are just lying. Please, can you use this medium? Because me too now, I'm like this. Should I or should I not? Convince us.
I can argue that even you might not even know, because what the video had said is that at certain stages, you can still use it. When you get to that chronic stage, you don't expect that hydroxychloroquine to work.
Yes.
But if at the early stages, or even preventive are things you can use ahead to help strengthen your immune system or to prevent it from coming. Is that true? That's the argument from the video that we're saying, not that it cures COVID-19.
It's not a vitamin now.
Yes, hydroxychloroquine actually has some form of preventive measures against COVID-19.
Right.
Because it actually prevents the virus from entering into the cells and replicating themselves. But then again, oral zinc also does almost the same job. And then oral zinc wouldn't give you the side effects that hydroxychloroquine will give you. And oral zinc is actually much cheaper. Don't forget that at the beginning of the response, we actually tried hydroxychloroquine in Lagos, in one of the isolation centers. And the results were not so fantastic compared to the other drugs that we are applying to the patients. So if you want to read on the internet, it's fine. But then again, theory is different from practical. I don't know, Dr. Stella attended to 350 patients or 400 patients, and she had results with them. But we are talking about thousands and millions of people. The results we get in 40 people, in 350 people, cannot be compared to the results
Dr.
we get.
Japhet, leave that matter. Let's not bring Dr. Stella here. Let me give him that question.
I'm more worried about the fact that schools are resuming, churches are resuming, and I know that sometimes the government will say that we are going to check if they all meet with the protocols and all the guidelines they're supposed to have in the schools. But we are not sure that at the end of the day, they will follow through. We have a problem of following through. Now, is there anything your organization is doing to assist the, either it's the NCDC or the federal government in following through to ensure that all the schools and all the churches have the guidelines met before resumption?
Yes, thank you very much for raising a very germane concern. And you're absolutely right. Following through with protocols and established rules, some of our around here. And we have developed a protocol of our own, the NMA COVID-19 Committee, which we have translated to the State Officers Committee and then the government. We are also going to be publishing it very soon. We are still discussing the modalities of the school resumption, and we are still trying to fine-tune arrangements on how we can help the government to monitor and supervise and ensure that these protocols are adhered to and are put in place so that our students will be protected, our children will be fully protected from contracting the virus.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, on a personal note, my own personal problem. Me, I take vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, omega. Am I preventing the virus? And dongoyaro. Am I preventing the virus?
Mikey, you alone.
Oh, let me one person.
I don't know about dongoyaro. Hey. You cannot go wrong with vitamin C, vitamin D, and the omega H3 that you are taking.
Is she not overdosed?
You should know about
That's a lot of stuff you're taking daily.
No. It's not overdose if you take the prescribed measurement for you. I would say that. She can contact me later.
Oh, a lemon and ginger. I forgot that one.
Okay, doesn't want COVID-19.
You can take them. They're good for your body, so you can go ahead.
Okay, no one die. We shall live. All of us will survive this 2020. By God's grace.
Amen.
Okay, let's go on the break. Thank you so much, Dr. Japhet. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for always having me.
All right.
Pleasure.
Let's go on the break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. This week is World Breastfeeding Week. According to health experts, breast milk gives infants a good start to life because it contains all the vitamins and nutrients needed in the first 6 months of their life. To give us the importance of breastfeeding to both mother and child is the Program Manager and Coordinator, Child Advocacy Initiative, Mrs. Grace Ogunniyi. Good morning, madam. Are you there? Hi, Grace.
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good to have you on
Very
the
well,
show. So
Thank you so much.
in this modern day, man, breastfeeding can be a chore. You know, there's so many options out there. You know, they tell you breastfeeding is good. You know it's good, but you also feel that, listen, those who take formula are just as healthy. So why do we need to keep enforcing or emphasizing the need for breastfeeding?
Okay, many people think that those who take formula are just as healthy, but the truth is that the benefits of breastfeeding far outweighs formula feeding. As the matter of fact, there are so many benefits. It reduces the risk of infection in infants, and it also protects them against so many diseases, and it boosts their immune system. At the same time, it also helps the mother, aside from the fact that it also helps their bonding, and it also saves them money. And you realize that children who breastfeed, who go on exclusive breastfeeding, are usually smarter than their peers.
I disagree with
you. Go ahead.
This is something that has been proven over time. The quality of what the nutrients they get from their mother's breast, is something that far outweighs formula feeding anytime, any day.
Yeah, so there's this thing I hear now that is called counseling for breastfeeding.
Yeah.
So women are supposed to, get counselors to talk to them about the benefits of breastfeeding and all of that. But I want to ask, in a situation whereby it's not possible for the mother to breastfeed the child, let's take for instance a case of where the mother has HIV and you cannot breastfeed. Is there any other way that you can still ensure that your children have those nutrients that we would have had if they were taking breast milk?
Okay, I'll start with the counseling. We are in the World Breastfeeding Week, and the theme this year is on supporting breastfeeding, for a healthier planet. And we realize that many mothers need to have access to counseling, to counselors who are able to advise them and give them quality information. We realize that many mothers, there's so many old wives still, they tell you, you have to breastfeed and add water. They tell you, a child cannot survive on just breast milk for 6 months, and there's a lot of lies and tales, that doesn't make mothers to have to give their children the quality breast milk that they deserve. So that's why we need this counseling to go around, such that mothers and families can receive breastfeeding support along with information, advice. It could also boost the confidence of mothers. The mothers need confidence. Some mothers really want to breastfeed for 2 years, but because when you're in an environment and you're breastfeeding, somebody gives you this silly stare and you're like, how can you still be breastfeeding a child that is working?
Wow.
We also need to empower women, to be able to overcome challenges,
Okay. Let me go
that prevent their treatment and care practices. So yeah, counseling goes a long way, and we need so many people to do this, from health practitioners to doctors to lactation counselors. There is need for more counselors as touch breastfeeding. Yeah.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, continue this conversation with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the Child Advocacy Initiative Coordinator, Grace Ogunniyi. Waike had a question for her before the break.
My daughter, she has 2 babies now. The first one is 2 years old, and the second one is 6 months, and she's breastfeeding both.
At the same time.
So, what do you think she should win the older one? Because now he says, "Mom, Mommy, I got milk. I got milk."
Yeah.
Is
it even okay to breastfeed 2 children?
At the same time.
That's a powerful woman. Yes, I mean, I'm impressed to hear that. And it's something we call tandem nursing, you know, where you can breastfeed 2 babies at the same time, 2 babies of different ages. You know, many people do not even know about this yet, the possibility of doing this. And so sometimes, because they are pregnant, they win one baby and say, oh, because I'm pregnant. No, if you're able to do it and you're willing to do it, then you realize that both children would be able to breastfeed fine and have the benefits from the breast milk of their mother. So it's a very good thing, you know, to tandem nurse when you're able to do it. So I think we should give us such encouragement to go on with it.
Now,
and
talking about
nothing will affect the people. A doctor certifies that it's safe for it, then she's good to go.
Fantastic. Now, there's some people that would love to breastfeed, but for whatever reason, the milk doesn't come out enough or the baby doesn't get filled. So I had that issue growing up in my early days. I just kept trying to put this girl to the breast, but she wasn't full. She'd just be crying. My mother had to say, Auntie, all this your exclusive breastfeeding is not going to work. Go and get formula, because I mean, I couldn't let the baby starve. So in that kind of situation, how do we still do the exclusive breastfeeding?
Yeah, many mothers choose, but the truth is, with encouragement and with right practices, a mother can finally be able to breastfeed her children rightly. Like maybe you express your breast milk, and then some people also think that once you put the baby to breast, the baby should be filled up. You know, and you realize that some babies, you know, would like to feed every 2 hours. While some would just breastfeed and sleep, you know. So for such babies, you need to just keep putting them, you know, to breast per time, and you realize that before you know it, they'll be fine, and then the breast milk will start flowing better than when you first started. So but the more you put the child to breast, the more you are able to supply breast milk for the baby. That's the idea behind it.
All right, let me ask you this question. So I know that we say breastfeeding is supposed to provide all the nutrients to the children and to the babies. But I'm wondering, isn't it what the mother eats that is transferred to the children? Let's take, for instance, women who cannot afford to get good meals, quality meals. So what are they transfer? What nutrients are they giving to those babies? And is there anything you're doing to ensure that women learn to increase or, you know, increase the quality of their plate, whether they are poor or rich?
Okay. It's good for breastfeeding mothers to feed rightly, to feed well, to take in nutrients, vegetables, fruits, you know, carbohydrates in their good proportions. However, we also understand that there are cases where some people cannot really afford, you know, this feeding. But then these women there are women that are not starving, but they are eating. And then are also saying they will rather formula feed. You know, so the truth is, it doesn't even, whatever a mother eats is sufficient for the child. As far as you are not dying of starvation, whatever a mother eats will be, you know, sent back to the breast milk, and then the child can get nutrients from that. It's still better than formula feeding, than just leaving the child to. It's better for a child to still suck directly from the mother, even if the mother is taking pap with akara or pap with beans. I tell you, the child will still get sufficient nutrients from that mother's breast milk.
I wanted to ask, you know, there are some ladies that have inverted nipples and they find it almost impossible to breastfeed. Is there any treatment for this kind of
nipples
ladies?
Okay, I had that experience with my first child myself, and many nurses tried. It was only one nurse that came. I was trying to express, and then she went to get a syringe. So there are syringes that, you know, would help pull out. And there's also something called the nipple shield, where you fix the nipple shield to your breast milk. It looks like the mouth of a feeder, and then as the child sucks, it pulls out the nipple. So there are some syringes. I wouldn't advise mothers to do this by themselves, but you can get a lactational consultant or practitioner or a midwife to help you. There's a way they are able to pull it out with needle, with syringe without needle, to pull out the nipple. And it takes time, practice, and the more you do it, by the time the child starts sucking gradually, the child would pull it out, sufficiently by himself.
Yeah. Now, Grace, let us be as real as possible, because in these modern times, I mean, they give us 3 months maternity leave. There's a lot of stress. A woman goes through a lot of stress. And part of breast milk is when a woman is in a very, very emotionally strong state, that she can actually break, the breast can come out easily. But when a woman is stressed out, she's going to one job from the other job, she's driving in traffic, she's doing this, there's a lot on her mind, the milk doesn't flow. And that's the reality of our situation. You have to work. Yeah. So when we make it look as if you don't breastfeed, it's like a crime against humanity. We begin to make women fear. How do we handle that situation?
Yeah, actually, we also have to respect individual circumstances and choices, in as much as we are always saying it's good to breastfeed exclusively. However, I believe that a mother who is willing to do this, it starts from the mindset. If you really want to go all out to do it, you can, you can encourage yourself, and then counseling. If you find someone to encourage you, you realize that before you know it, you're able to breast pump and express milk. So most modern day women, what they do is they express their breast milk, they preserve it, and then they're able to, even when they are not there, their children caregivers can help, give the express breast milk to the children. Yeah, you talked about stress and all that, but I tell you, with determination and support, it would help a mother to, to do so much for the child.
Yeah, so what are some of, I would like you to maybe outline some of the advantages of breastfeeding, because I know that one of them is the fact that it helps you stay, it protects a woman from having ovarian cancer, ovarian cyst. What are some of the things that we need to know that would encourage women to breastfeed more?
Okay, breastfeeding lowers the risk of infection in infants. It prevents them against diseases, we have colostrum, which is the ideal first milk for children, and is usually tagged as liquid gold. So breastfeeding, when a child is exclusively breastfed, the child is able to get all the nutrients it needs, within the first 6 months from the mother. It also encourages bonding and also saves the economy of the family, and then you realize that children who are adequately breastfed, they hardly fall sick. And for me, that is a huge one. You can tell that they hardly get infections, because a child that just sucks directly from the mother, you don't have to do this and do that. You know that what the child is getting is best. It also prevents diarrhea. Some children who take formula, and then many times mothers, when they come to us and they complain about things, my child is stooling, my child is this, the first thing we ask is this child exclusively breastfeeding? Then you realize that most mothers who have complaints are mothers that formula feed. But a mother who is, breastfeeding exclusively, you realize that they have little or less complaints, maybe, and then before you know, the child is back on track. You're able to track, where the ailment is from quickly. You can just say, okay, madam, just drink more water. There's usually not much issues with breastfeeding.
Auntie Grace.
Again.
We have very little time. I would have tackled you on that one, because I have some babies that are not breastfed and they're very healthy. They've not been to the hospital. Yeah. But let's take a few tweets.
Yes, it's one particular tweet is from Mayowa. He says the ladies should be speaking informed. Women with HIV can breastfeed, but it has to be exclusive breastfeeding. And he's saying we should take notes. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah. Mothers with HIV or with certain ailments or terminal diseases can, you just reach out to your medical practitioner, and then they have a way to go on with it, advise you on it. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Okay, we have to go, unfortunately, but thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've been speaking with the coordinator and manager of Child Advocacy Initiative, Grace Ogunniyi. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's all we can take on today's show. Please support the Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation as best you can. And also, once again, our hearts goes out to the families of Pa Fasomi. He was buried yesterday. May his soul rest in peace. Amen. He was an elder statesman and a leader, a worthy leader in Nigeria. And everybody has been mourning his death since he passed on. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.